have our chopper shot back.
We got chopper on.
In that area. Is this live or tape?
Tape.
This is tape. So this is the tape video that we were able to obtain before we were told to push our chopper out of the way. And you can just see the beginning of the smoke beginning to bellow, which got worse as time went on. But once again, according to one of our reporters that is close to the scene, that there are police on scene with assault rifles heading into not only the parking lot, but into that area to deal with whatever the situation is there. We're told it's an active shooter. We can or could see, this is earlier video of smoke coming from the synagogue. And there's a fire.
Wow, look at that.
Appears to be a fire.
Is this another attack? Iran?
From the synagogue.
It's crazy.
Be a fire.
Thank you for the heads up, guys. Thank you for the help.
Yeah, there's also some video coming into Fox 2 here of Oakland County Sheriff's members with assault rifles that appear to be approaching the area. So this does look like an active shooter situation here.
Even so, just with the people gathered right outside of the building, again, if you're wondering how are people being secured, usually they want you further away from the building. So we're taking that into account as well. Again, there's very limited information.
Smoke, look at this.
Right now, but this is a tape right now that we're looking at. So this was just a few moments ago when Sky Fox was in the area. There is a no-fly zone.
No fly zone?
So we're not sure exactly where Chopper is right now, but we are continuing to effort our crew to get closer and closer to the area, as we know some of the roads are blocked off as well.
Now, this is new information from a credible source, WWJ Radio. They are saying that it is a driver pulled a car into the sidewalk, crashed into the building at entrance 5 at the synagogue. That's what WWJ is currently reporting. We don't know that for a fact. That's what they are reporting at this point. But as we get more information, we will get that to you. They're saying there is a witness, they have a witness on the scene, and that is what our WWJ News Radio is reporting.
There is a gigantic police congregation here. I mean, this would be close to 30 vehicles right here just outside of the synagogue from some videos that some of our reporters are sending back right now. And those reporters are actively working to get closer and establish a connection so we can talk to them about what is happening as they get closer. You can see this shot earlier. The police vehicles were getting greater and greater in population. There's a EMS truck right out front, and then right next to that is a fire truck with what appears to be some firefighters standing by it as well.
Now, once again, this active shooter situation, and multiple reports are coming in. And as this story continues to develop, we'll finite our information and get you exactly what we know. We can only talk about what we know and what are reported from credible sources. But right now, we do know there is a huge police presence at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. There is a situation that they are dealing with. There is smoke coming from the building as well. And that there is some kind of active shooter situation happening at that building.
So we're receiving some information from some of our reporters, some of our anchors. Erica Francis alerted us that within that the temple itself, that there is a nursery school inside. Now, we don't know if there were children inside the nursery school at the time, just that there is a nursery school within that temple itself. So these are all very important pieces of information that we're going to be tracking down.
Okay, now we have someone on the phone that is familiar with the synagogue, with Temple Israel. It's Carolyn Krieger. She is a friend of Fox 2. She's been here many times. She's a well-known publicist in the area. Carolyn Krieger-Cohen, are you there?
Hi, Lee. Yeah.
I know you're very emotional, but what can you tell us? First, tell us about the synagogue itself. Tell us about the building that we're looking at.
Oh, it is Temple Israel. It's the most wonderful
Temple Israel.
Place. And it is one of the largest, if not the largest, Reform temple in the United States. and it's where my children.
Oh, look! What's going on there?
went and were bat mitzvahs
Oh, they're kind of running.
and confirmed.
I think this is pre-recorded, but
And I was married by
when they evacuate people, or
one of the rabbis. I know all the rabbis, and it's just heartbreaking.
So, do you know anything about what's happening at the temple right now? Has any information gone out to parishioners?
Yeah, I don't know anything except for the kinds of things that you are reporting. I believe that buildings are in lockdown. Probably everywhere is on lockdown, not just Jewish-focused buildings. But this is such a close-knit community, and we all care about each other, and we're all connected. And it's just very frightening and heartbreaking.
Carolyn, I want to ask you, as we wait to confirm what's actually happening here, and I know information is slow to come in to you as well,
Yeah.
what's making you emotional when you just think about the state of the world that we're in right now, the fact that there seem to be increased attacks on
Get with your
Jewish
church security.
synagogues and organizations?
You gotta be armed now to go to church?
Right now?
There are so many things right now. I feel like I'm just, I don't know what, don't even know that I can put a finger on everything I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling upset. I'm feeling
You put the volume up,
fear.
sorry,
I'm
guys.
feeling, and just feeling I wish there wasn't so much hate between people in this world right now.
Yeah.
Carolyn, as somebody who is familiar with the temple, on a Thursday afternoon, what would the population be like inside? And I guess what I'm asking is, like, are they holding classes right now? Are there typically, large amounts of people in the temple at this time?
Again, I can't say for sure. I mean, there is an early childhood center there. There are typically preschoolers there. I don't know if they're in the afternoons, just the mornings, both. There would for sure be people at the temple, the rabbis and the staff, and there might be various community activities. It's just, again, I don't know what was anything scheduled today or anything like that, but it's a thriving temple. And,
damn, look at that. Yeah. What's up, guys? So just welcome to the stream. We're covering breaking news. I don't have any notifications, so if you could please, on YouTube, if you could hit the like button to get me in the algorithm to get the news out. Not much that we know yet. There's an active shooter report at the Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. Wow, look at the cops. Look how many cops out there.
Of police enforcement from
Supposedly
all
a
different
car
agencies that have
drove up to or drove into this place, and this person started shooting, and massive response, and a lot of smoke coming out.
I can tell you that from my office, which is near Telegraph Road and Square Lake, I have heard a constant stream of sirens going by, so I have to believe that police from all jurisdictions are being sent over there.
Carolyn, I feel at a time like this, you were talking about that there's such hate between people. So what I think is important for people to understand is that we are all humans. We get so much further with love. What is your day-to-day experience as we talk about just this increase in hatred and attacks? Do you feel like you live in fear on a day-to-day basis, or is this something that's spoken about in your household? What message do you want to convey to the folks who are watching and listening right now, and perhaps just trying to get an understanding of what it is like to be a Jewish American right now?
Well, I can't say that I live in fear every day, but we are a population that has been persecuted for a long time. And I know, from the Anti-Defamation League and the things that I see and read, that anti-Semitism is absolutely on the rise. And that, as a Jewish person, is definitely frightening. But day to day, although it could change after today, I can't say that I live in fear. But just in a general way, we never forget what's happened to us in the past, and I just don't understand why there is so much hatred toward the Jewish people.
I'm also curious, just because I know lessons in my own household about discrimination and how to navigate in a world like this. What kinds of lessons are passed down in the Jewish community? How do you explain this to children who are coming up and have to learn how to navigate in a world with this much hate?
Right. I can. That's a really good question and a really hard one for me to answer. I mean, never forget the Holocaust is a big part of our identity, and I know that in Jewish day schools, temples, synagogues, the Holocaust. The Zeckelman Holocaust Center in West Bloomfield also. I mean, education is huge.
Yeah.
Education is so important. I mean, I know that there are therapists that I'm sure I could have call in that could talk about this in a greater way, in a more, educated way, I suppose. But just for me, from my heart, to see this happening is just unfathomable. I represent a lot of extraordinary Jewish organizations, nonprofits who give back to the community, who give back to so many people and do good for so many people, Jewish and not Jewish. That's the thing. We want to help heal the world. I mean, that is part of who we are. And the Jewish community works to do that, 365 days
Active
a year.
shooter.
It's just part of who we are. Oh.
And you talk about wanting to heal the world and just what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. We understand this is a food pantry day that happens every other Thursday, so it's possible that today that's what was happening. So again, I don't know if you're near a TV and just able to see some of the live pictures that we have from our crew now, where we have this massive police scene. We see police officers with long guns, and when you think that this could have affected people that may have just been at the synagogue just trying to get food for their families. It's so heartbreaking, Carolyn.
Yeah, I do have Fox 2 on and seeing all of those cars. Temple Israel is a place that is known for so much joy, weddings and baby namings and bat mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs and happy mitzvah occasions. Oh my gosh. I am looking at the live shots. I used to live on the street. I could walk to Temple Israel from where I used to live. I mean, this is very personal and heartbreaking.
And your kids were bar mitzvahed here as well? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. I mean, we have so many beautiful memories at Temple Israel. Their clergy is amazing. They are amazing people. I can see the live pictures right now. Oh my gosh.
Carolyn, they say that this is a food pantry day every Thursday, so we are making a connection that it is some kind of food pantry day today as well. Have you ever been part of that day, and what does that day mean for the amount of people that could possibly be in the synagogue at this time?
Yeah,
what portion is it in?
Yeah, Lee, I don't know. That does not surprise me that they have that activity there. Might be on their website, but I don't. I don't know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But certainly you can understand just going to any event at Temple Israel and not expecting for that to be a day that a car drives through the building or someone with a gun shows up or there is an attack or a fire. I mean, it just really speaks to the fact that anything can happen at any time.
Yeah. Wow.
I looked up, Carolyn, I looked up the calendar of events today at Temple Israel, and it looks like they have a couple things in addition to the food pantry, but one of them is a movement on the mind, which was scheduled between 1:30 and 2:30. So you would imagine that people that were going to that, maybe they got there a little bit early. Fitness class, which was scheduled between 3 and 4 o'clock at the temple, but just more evidence that goes to show this is an active and bustling temple with people coming and going at all hours.
Temple Israel is known, throughout the country and probably in Israel and around the world. I mean,
I've never heard of this place. I didn't know about it.
Well-respected, well-known, beautiful, beautiful place of worship and community.
Now, as we go back to live pictures, this is our Fox 2 chopper here, our chopper shot. You can see live pictures of smoke still coming out of the building.
Yeah.
Earlier,
I might be watching I don't know, I'm seeing a different picture, but I have not seen that yet. Wow. Oh my gosh.
You might be on a delay as live TV happens, how it happens, Carolyn. We appreciate you taking the time, and maybe stay with us for a second, but we did see a large presence of people walking. You can see right there on the street. I'm not sure if that's Walnut Lake Road, just east of Drake, maybe where they are.
That would be Walnut Lake Road.
Walnut Lake Road, yeah. And you can see a huge police presence walking from there.
And that huge police.
Oh, now I see that.
The presence, by the way, I just heard from my sister who works in West Bloomfield, and she works at Orchard Lake and Walnut Lake, which is, I mean, as the crow flies, probably half a mile from Temple Israel.
Okay.
And she said that her work is also under lockdown right now.
So the complete area is under lockdown.
It looks like
then.
that whole area
people
is
right
under
now,
lockdown.
the
Just take a
times
live
are
look at
crazy.
some of the
And with this Iran stuff going on, I mean, I just feel like people are more ready to go all out, I mean, look at the mass shooting we had in Texas. The mass shooter that had an Iranian flag shirt and had another shirt on top of that that said property of Muhammad.
Gun. He is preparing ammo and everything, preparing to go. And when this is happening, it means that the situation is ongoing as he gears up. And we don't know exactly what is in that building yet. We are told it's an active shooter. There have been reports of at entrance 5, but as you can see, that there are a huge police presence and federal presence as well on scene in West Bloomfield at a Jewish synagogue, as the eyes of the nation are probably turning right here to Michigan as this unfolds.
Carolyn, I want you to hold tight and listen to this for a second, because we're getting information that parents are now trying to come to the scene and pick up their children, their loved ones. Lee has mentioned we had word of an active shooter. We also saw fire crews on the scene, and it looked like there was smoke coming from the building in several different places. And then, producers, if you don't mind to confirm for me again if that car into the building is confirmed, because that certainly would paint the picture of a more coordinated attack. And now we have this statement from Michigan State Police, and it says Michigan State Police are aware of an active shooting incident that is ongoing in West Bloomfield. We are asking for community members to stay away from the area and to allow the police response. Troopers are also increasing patrols at other places of worship in Detroit as well. So this goes back to everything that you were saying earlier about what it feels like to just be minding your own business in a place of worship, and to have something like this happen and potentially just rip communities apart, rip families apart. Now that this picture is coming into clearer view, Carolyn, and it does appear to be something very sinister here, what are your thoughts and feelings?
Well, I'm just looking at all of the fire trucks and police trucks and the FBI, and it's just such a surreal thing to think that so much love and passion and community happens in this beautiful, beautiful temple. And I don't just mean physically beautiful, I mean spiritually beautiful rabbis and clergy and camp and staff who care so much about one another and about the world at large.
Carolyn,
And I just can't believe what I'm looking at.
it is hard to believe as we all live through this together. I do want to ask, we're getting a report that parents are trying to get to this scene. Is there a school in this facility? Is there, would there be kids in the facility on Thursday afternoon that you may know of any function that would happen at the synagogue? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, but you are closer to the synagogue than I am and closer to that area. But I don't know if there is a school on that property, a daycare on that property inside of there as well?
Well, there is a preschool. And again,
Preschool too.
I don't know the hours of that preschool, but I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Carolyn,
if I could jump in, because this is something that I was kind of digging into, because I think that this is a massive part of this story. Yes, as far as what their website shows, there is childcare happening right now. They have a childcare program, an early childhood program, and a kindergarten program. There are 2 different times. One of them goes from 9 a.m. till noon. That would have ended maybe slightly before the incident, but there's another one that goes from 9 a.m. till 2:30 p.m. So 2:30 in the afternoon. That is a Monday through Friday program for an early childhood center for childcare. And I imagine that some of those reports that we are getting right now of parents rushing to the scene are probably parents of those kids that are still there in that program.
So I'm sure, and can you only imagine the fear that those parents are feeling right now? Oh my gosh.
Okay, Carolyn, we're going to say goodbye to you for the moment. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing with us your perspective. It was incredibly impactful as we continue to watch this unfold. We're now going to bring in Mike Harville, who is a security coordinator at Kensington Church. Mike, are you here with me? Going to give Mike a few seconds to connect.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So you're a security coordinator at Kensington Church. If you've had a chance to look at our live pictures, we have seemingly every agency on the scene. We've seen police, we've seen FBI, we have fire crews on the scene. There's smoke billowing from the building in 3 different places. Word of a car. I do believe we just got to look at the car into the building. And Michigan State Police are now saying that there is or was an active shooter situation as well. So with your security expertise, what do you believe would
West
be the
Bloomfield,
process to secure
Michigan.
the scene, and what do you think is happening right now on the ground?
Well, from what I've been able to see, because I've been watching your live feed, they're going to be securing the entire building and making sure they get everybody out safely. They're going to be going through, making sure that they've stopped any possible threats. If there's anybody else in there that could be a threat, they're going to want to make sure that that's been stopped. And then they're going to look for any wounded and then make sure all the wounded get treated. Right now, we don't know if there is any wounded yet, but we're hoping and praying there are not.
Mike, right as you were hopping on with us, we saw a group of what appeared to be civilians. If I had to guess, it might be parents. They were being patted down by law enforcement, and they did. It looked like they entered the building. Is there a scenario in which part of the building would be secured? Maybe that's the part of the building that has we're seeing what looks to be a parent run up right now. Yeah. Would they let the parents in if the childhood center part of the building was safe?
That very well could be. I am not in law enforcement myself, so I can't speak to exactly what their decision would be on that, but that is a great possibility because they're going to want to be able to get those kids out of there safely. And the best way for a child to leave in a situation like that is with their parents. Mm-hmm. So if they've secured the building, they feel that there is no longer a threat, then checking the parents, allowing them in to get their kids and get them out of there is probably what they're working on right now.
Mike, I'm curious how your job has changed over the past few years as we seemingly have more and more attacks on sporting venues and synagogues and places of worship for all faiths. Can you just take us through a day in the life for you? How are you tasked with keeping people safe when there seem to be threats coming from so many different places in today's world?
I do. I've gotten busier. We'll put that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we do more training. We do active shooter training with our staff, with volunteers. The program that we use is one that was developed by law enforcement. It's called React ASAP. It's a quick, easy course to go through, but it's gets a lot of repetition, so you learn the concepts very well. So that's what we're doing to make sure that people have that they're empowered to handle a situation should it arise. But we're making sure that we're being vigilant, keeping an eye on everything, just trying to make sure we keep everybody safe.
Mike, as we're watching the live footage, as somebody that has a career in this, are there any things that we can look for that would be good signs, that would be silver linings, or things that you would see that would say this is moving in the right direction?
Well, so when you're talking about silver lining, if you don't see much activity with regards to ambulances, that is an indication there's little or no wounded, and which is a huge positive. The building can be replaced. The lives cannot. Mm-hmm. And so if everybody is getting out of there safely, in my mind, we won.
Yeah, Mike, real quickly, before I ask you my next question, we did see some police presence from Oakland County. It looked like Sheriff Michael Bouchard walking through the parking lot is who we saw. And so when all these different agencies from federal to state to local come together with the security that's already on staff and in the building, how do they all come together to secure a situation like this, Mike? Maybe you can give us an idea of what the protocols they're walking through right now, Mike.
Well, there's a system that's in place that's a national system that was put in place after 9/11. It's called the Incident Command System. And whenever there's a major situation like this, there is an individual that is the incident commander, and then certain individuals are given different responsibilities, and those responsibilities have already been spelled out on who would do or what responsibility roles need to be filled, and then the commander assigns people to those responsibilities, and everybody has their role to play. And so there is a structure system. Like I said, it's called the Incident Command System.
All right, Mike, we're going to let you go here. Thank you so much for your perspective as a security coordinator at Kensington Church. You definitely helped paint a more clear picture of what we're looking at here on the ground as several agencies come together. We see people hugging here, just such an emotional time. I have no information about Mike, thank you.
Injuries or
my
the
pleasure.
shooter yet.
Thank you.
Now we're going to bring in Fox 2 reporter Camilla Meary, who has been making her way to the scene. Camille, you're there now. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Mario, we just got here, and I'm hoping to get a little bit closer after this next live shot. But let me tell you what we can see. I'm zooming over right now, Brian Paninsky, to see this is right here, all of the police you see. We have been hearing sirens and seeing cars the whole way. We were coming here from Detroit. This is as close as we can get right now, but I think that once we get done with you, we can get closer on foot. But I wanted to show you this right now, what it looks like. Police still arriving. Obviously a very active situation. I do not know how many people have been hit, if any, but we know that this is an active police situation right now. I see Waterford Police. There are literally police from all over here. More showing up right now as we speak. I think that we may have lost our signal, but I don't know if you can still hear me. I just want to tell you that that's what's going on. But we want to tell you that we've got crews all over the area, and we've got crews closer. We just happen to be coming from Detroit, and that's why we just arrived here, but we're going to work to get closer. The sound that we were hearing in our ear was actually for, I didn't know if we still had the signal, but for an emergency alert for everyone to stay in lockdown. All schools, all synagogues in the area are on lockdown right now. We ran into a photographer who was actually going to his kid's school, a photographer from Fox 2. His children go to school nearby. They are on lockdown. So that is the situation situation, a very, very fluid situation right now from where our vantage point. Again, just to show you the look of all the cop cars that are here with sirens, obviously at the scene. And again, we're going to work to get closer. But again, this entire area locked down. People being told to avoid this area while police work to do their job. Marielle.
Camille, this is Derek Everett. I got a question for you. As somebody, you have so much experience with scenes like this, with emergencies. Have you ever seen a police presence like the one that you're seeing right now?
No, I mean, obviously Oxford, and I happened to be off that day, but I was watching it all unfold, and was going to come in, but they said no, we had enough people. But right now, this is the kind of thing we're seeing. This is the kind of thing like Oxford, that many people
2
here,
months
that many
and no
cops.
pole
We're going to
dancing.
work to get closer.
Very
Closer
disappointed.
next time we see you.
Lowell.
All right,
I'll send
Camille,
it back to you.
this is Lee. We'll let you guys go and do your jobs. We appreciate you coming live with us. But right now we have Eric O'Neill, former counterterrorism and counterintelligence operative with the FBI, who is on with us now. First of all, Eric, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we see a huge police presence. You perhaps have been watching the video and the information that we've been able to gather so far. What are your initial thoughts of what exactly is happening here?
Well, an active shooter situation is something that you never want to take lightly, particularly with the current known threats by extremists who are unhappy about what is happening in Iran right now.
Exactly.
And the fact that it is a Jewish synagogue and the known threat between Islamic extremism and those synagogues are something that clearly law enforcement is not taking lightly at all. And anytime there's an active shooter, you're going to see this sort of reaction.
Now, there is a huge presence of multi-agencies here. Maybe you can walk us through the protocol and who has jurisdiction and what exactly is happening on the ground as we watch parents show up. We watch different agencies head in and around the building. What can you tell us about exactly the protocol of what's happening?
Well, typically in an active shooter situation, local law enforcement are first on the scene. Normally there's a call to them with a 911 call. They come on the scene and they will move quickly to try to interdict the shooter if possible. It really depends on the situation or whether the shooter is continuing to shoot, whether they're holed up somewhere, whether they know
Eric,
where they are.
I hate to cut you off and jump in here, but we're looking at pictures and it looked like an armored vehicle as well as emergency vehicles going in. I can add that to the conversation as you talk about what's happening. Darn it.
Yeah, certainly. And so just depending on the threat, and we, from the videos and from what we know, we don't know enough about the threat to really opine on it. That would suggest whether there is additional layering, whether, how fast SWAT can get there to move in, what is the risk to
cannot be completed
civilians and innocents,
please consult your directory and call again,
from an active shooter,
or
and how
ask your
fast law
operator for
enforcement can
assistance.
respond
This is
and
a
move in
recording.
and take that shooter down. That is the number one goal.
Eric, if you can hold on for a second. You're still with us. We can still hear you. We're just having some technical difficulties as we try to clean up our audio line so we can hear what you're saying. We're talking about the armored vehicle. We kind of lost you a little bit there. Maybe you could go back and you talk about how different agencies have different protocols. Eric, are you still there with us? Please go on.
Yep, I'm still here. Local law enforcement will usually be first on the scene. They might ask for assistance. A SWAT team will normally come in order to try to neutralize the shooter. Obviously, the number one concern for law enforcement and any of the agencies who might be on the scene, and I can't tell you who is there or why, because we just don't know enough, is to protect lives and to safeguard those who could be innocents caught in the crossfire of an active shooter.
Eric, this is Marielle Liu here. I did want to read to you this statement coming in from Kash Patel via FBI Detroit. It says, FBI personnel are on the scene with partners in Michigan and responding to the apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation out of a Temple Israel synagogue in West Bloomfield Township. Earlier today, while we were watching this unfold, I did mention because of the different elements between fire in the building, word of a car ramming into the building, and then an active shooter, that certainly looked more like a coordinated attack. Can you speak from your perspective now, knowing that there is a vehicle rammed into the building and an active shooter situation, what that might indicate for what type of attack we're looking at here?
Well, certainly, I would suggest or suspect that it is, and is being treated as an act of terrorism, especially if the FBI are immediately involved. It certainly seems to have a lot of the hallmarks. The vehicle rammed into the building provides a point of entry, and then you have an active shooter. I can't tell you, and I'm not sure if the reporting has suggested that shots are still being fired or if the shooter has been neutralized. But the fact that the FBI was on the is a good thing. That means that they're giving all the support to local law enforcement that they would require in order to handle this as quickly and as safely as possible.
Eric, the fact that we've gotten confirmation from the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, the fact that there are this many law enforcement officers on scene, the fact that the FBI is involved at all, in your professional opinion, would you say that this is not a coincidence that the largest Reform synagogue in North America, in one of the greatest Jewish population cities in the state of Michigan, would you, I don't want to make a connection, but would you say that that's not a coincidence?
Yeah, you got to make a connection.
I don't believe in coincidences.
Talk about it. Yeah.
If you look at what's happening in the world, we know from different reports from the FBI and other intel agencies that Iranian extremists are active in the U.S. Now, this is everything from potential threats to citizens to cyber attacks, and there have been, a number of different statements from the FBI and others to take caution and make preparations. There has been a rise in violent extremism here in the U.S. for some years, and often what these either lone wolf individuals who are activated themselves or by extremist cells, all they need is a triggering event. And the war or the military action in Iran is certainly one of those triggering events that could cause individuals who are sympathetic or active extremist cells to start to take action. And we know that Iran wants to hurt us. And there are only really two ways they can do it. These sort of things here in the U.S. And cyber attacks, which they're very capable of doing as well.
Eric, I want to hang on that point. You said something that a lot of people are feeling and perhaps doesn't get enough conversation where there needs to be. You talked about the rise in violence here in the U.S. From your perspective, can you go deeper and just explain how has that change affected your line of work? What do you see? I mean, it's not just fear of Iran and what's happening. There's been a rise in white supremacy as well here in the U.S. So when it comes to counterterrorism,
what does that have to do with white
there
supremacy?
are so many different elements now, it seems you have to look at. It's not necessarily just attacks from other countries. It's right here at home.
Certainly, and the biggest concern is not a group of Iranians who snuck in. That is a concern that somehow moved through our border and are operating as terrorist cells here in the United States. It's actually homegrown terrorists that are a bigger concern. People who can be radicalized online. And the advent of the internet and making a big world very small allows people who may never have had those proclivities to find people who will help them radicalize in that process, whether they have some mental instability or they just have completely subscribed to an anti-American ideology. They might be radicalized. And look, it's easy to get your hands on a gun, and there are many examples of how to do the active shooting. In fact, you can find them online in different groups and look at what has happened in the past. We have seen this sort of attack before, where an individual rammed, I believe, his truck into a church and then started shooting and tried to set the church on fire. So there are examples that people who become radicalized and become lone wolf shooters or terrorists can use in order to carry out their attacks. But of course, here we should say we don't know whether this is one individual, multiple individuals, or what at this point.
We're thankful to report right now. It does seem as though there are no injuries to report, but I think that you have brought just such great perspective on how. I don't want to say how easy it is for homegrown terrorism, but what do you attribute this rise to be? Like, what is the cause of this?
Well, part of it is the internet and social media. It's very easy now to find people who think like you, who have the same problems that you do. It's easy to radicalize these susceptible people by in effect, the best word to use is grooming them into this using the internet. Now, it used to be very difficult for these these terrorists and supremacists and other groups to recruit. But now you can do it by the people who have a proclivity toward violence might actually find you. And, we saw this. We've seen this a number of different times, from radical extremists who throw, homemade bombs into crowds to shootings at churches and schools. And so, a lot of it is because of how online we all are and how we can find people who think like we do online, even if those people are the worst of the worst.
Here at Fox 2, we've made a commitment to not share the names of people who participate in mass shootings or try to create violence and panic in our communities. Do you find that notoriety is what some of these people are chasing, or is it just about the violence and hate?
No, I think that your policy is wise. I have the same policy in a weekly newsletter that I produce. I don't ever say the names of these people. Part of what can activate someone is that narcissism and hubris, that pride, that want to be famous. We see that a lot in the unhinged people who go on shooting sprees in schools. They want to be known. They leave manifestos. One of the strongest actions that can be taken is to leave them in the dustbin to history. Their names aren't known. That can help to deflect some people who might want to be famous and feel like maybe I won't. And that might be why you see people leave these manifestos and make sure their names, because they want their names to be known. So I think that is a good policy, not to publish the names of these kind of people.
All right, Eric O'Neill, this is Lee Thomas. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. You're former FBI counter-terrorism and counterintelligence operative. We appreciate your insight on this, what is unfortunate and groundbreaking event that's happening in our own backyard. Thank you so much, Eric O'Neill. We do want to get some more information before we go to our next expert. This information is in, and we want to make this one clear because it is great news. No one was hurt as of now. That is what we are told was said by Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard. No one is hurt as of now. And multiple other reports from the scene are coming in about the crash that was there.
They're saying that vehicles struck. Reports indicate shots were fired after the crash. Vehicle deliberately driven into the Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan. Reports indicate shots were fired after the crash. The vehicle caught fire after striking the building. Oakland County deputies say the incident appears intentional, and they're describing it still as active.
And around that synagogue in West Bloomfield, all on lockdown with heavy police presence, but it extends further than that into Jewish synagogues in all of our city and other places. Talk about what this means for Detroit Police Department and what protocols go into place when something like this happens nearby.
Well, those in the suburbs, there's synagogues in Detroit, one main one downtown, and there's someone right on the periphery of the city. I would think at this point, every police department is sending a special attention to the synagogues, or at least talking to the rabbis in charge of the synagogues, and not just the synagogues, because, like if I'm in Dearborn, I'm checking out the mosques in case there's a retaliatory effort by someone else who is anti-Islamic. So the mosques and the synagogues are on special attention. I'm sure
Yeah,
all the
with
police
the fire,
departments
too,
have been
what the hell?
aware of this. You know, everyone's on high alert. I mean, the war in Iran has got everyone on high alert. And now, and again, we don't know this individual. He had mental issues, he or she had mental issues who did this, but they definitely were trying to get mass destruction and mass casualties.
Steve, I want you to hear this information just coming into our newsroom and get your perspective as the former assistant chief. Car crash into the building. This information, by the way, coming from Temple's Communications. Car crash into the building. Police shot driver. It's unclear the driver's condition right now. Car caught on fire, which is why the fire trucks are there. All kids have been evacuated and are at Shenandoah.
Okay, he's been shot. Is he in custody?
That information we don't have yet, right?
Exactly. So we don't have that yet. Was there only one suspect? This is very similar to what happened in Grand Blanc. Didn't someone drive through the front
Angela,
door?
thank you very much for the super chat.
Yep, of a church. So is it a copycat? Is it someone who has mental issues? Again, and you can have all the security you want in the world, but if I want to get through, and I don't care about my life, I'm getting through. I don't know if there's cement bollards in front of the synagogue or not. I do know that there's kids there, little kids there.
Yeah.
And if you're going to make a statement, unfortunately, nothing's worse than, we've seen the bombing in Iran where 170 kids died.
Yes.
This could be retaliation for that. You don't know what's going through people's minds, and
Steve,
the parents are terrified. Go ahead.
On that note, and this might put some parents' minds at ease a little bit, but we can confirm that the kids and the teachers are safe. There was a message sent to the community members confirming that all of the kids and the teachers that were in the early childhood center are safe and accounted for.
And that's good news from the physical aspect. But
Anonymous, thank you.
what's this going to do with these kids psychologically, mentally? I mean, these kids are
What's going on?
little. It's ridiculous that we have to have these drills for these little kids, to run and hide, run and hide. And the parents are traumatized. You can tell me, got to get to my kid. And unfortunately, we can't let any parents in because what I'm understanding is he or she's not in custody yet. So you've got the high school kids at West Bloomfield. They're in lockdown. Some of them might think, what's the big deal? But these other kids are all being traumatized, as other teachers, as other parents, and actually, as is law enforcement, because they don't know what they're going to walk into.
I want to talk to you more about that because I've been with you on many
Let me just see if we have any other views or angles here. There's a bunch of lives right now, or a couple of lives. So if there's no injury, supposedly the shooter was shot. Don't know the condition of the shooter.
Certainly. So
What was the point of this attack?
Center at Temple Israel. We spoke to a neighbor, though, who said they saw lots of children getting out and getting away. So that is great.
Escape from the temple into this neighborhood.
Right, so I think with these two houses or those three houses or something, I guess they took some kids in and some teachers, but the other neighbors were telling me that they were okay. So hopefully that's the case.
Because we saw some buses just in this neighborhood a few minutes ago. Looked to have been loading up some kids to maybe take to another location, probably to reunite with family, I'm assuming. But again, so you've been kind of out here. What have you seen, I guess, since you've been standing here? And
honestly, just cops, ARs, different people with different uniforms from different cities, of course. Now these buses pulled up, and thank God they got some teachers and the kids, out of there at least.
And did your wife say she saw any kids in the neighborhood or anyone leaving the temple?
She said she saw a little bit of kids running, but nothing too crazy. She said she heard them crying, stuff that the kids would say if they were scared.
Well, Sheldon, thank you for talking to us and for sharing this experience from your perspective, being so close again to the temple. I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad your neighbors are safe. But again, they're urging people to shelter in place right now because of the situation that is still ongoing at Temple Israel. But we saw those.
Let me see. I had another person.
Us as very dynamic when we arrived. We went about as far as those buses are now, and then they've asked us to pull back, and we're being asked to move.
Parents, potentially, what could be parents, kind of
has not been arrested at this point.
Wait, let me roll on that.
Was this area. What's unclear at this point is a motive. Why was this temple targeted? That is something that they're trying to figure out. They're also trying to figure out if there was anyone else involved in this active shooter situation, whether there is any type of potential threat, because we do want to reiterate the point that the shooter has not been arrested at this point. That is why so many area businesses, homes in the area being told, please shelter in place, do not leave your home. Be safe. It's always best to use extra precaution in a situation like this.
Absolutely. And we're getting some information from some of our ABC sources that there's some preliminary information that this was an intentional vehicle ramming of the synagogue. That's according to sources briefed on the investigation, telling ABC News. According to sources, the vehicle was seen steering around security bollards. That's why the security personnel immediately engaged the driver. As you heard Sheriff Bouchard talking earlier, that they engaged with the driver, but again, it's unclear why there's so much smoke that's coming from the building. So unclear if they were able to still breach the building, get inside, if there was some kind of explosive device. Again, we saw with the Grand Blanc situation, you know, that the truck came in and then there were, you know, the fire ensued from there, sadly trapping people. So hopefully this was not a copycat of that, but if it was, then, you know, potentially they were able to mitigate the damage from this.
And earlier, Chopper 7 was over the synagogue, and we could see a lot of smoke coming from the top of the synagogue, coming out of an end.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions. Look at the cop response.
Parents, but this is a massive police presence.
Let me show you full screen.
At the synagogue right now, because there's still a lot of unanswered questions as to what took place here around 12:30 this afternoon at Temple Israel.
Absolutely. Again, as you said, we saw, no reports of injuries yet, and neighbors were able to tell us that they saw a lot of kids in the neighborhood getting away.
Yes.
The reunification point, once again, at the JCC. So if you need to get reunified with your children, you should go to the JCC. We are now going to go to Andy Arena, former head of the FBI here in Detroit. And Andy, unfortunately, we have seen so many of these sad, horrific situations occur in recent months and years here in Michigan. What can you tell us about what law enforcement is dealing with right now?
Well, you know, it's a day we certainly hope we wouldn't see, but, you know, unfortunately, I'm certainly not shocked by this attempt. So, you know, I think right now, obviously neutralizing that individual, that site now turns into a crime scene. I mean, obviously it looks like they've gotten everybody out. They've neutralized the target, so they've got to just basically get the evidence there and identify this individual. And from there, they've got to see, who are co-conspirators, what was his motive, executing search warrants at residences, social media activity, exploiting his electronic devices. There's a lot of work that's got to be done very quickly.
What kinds of training do federal agents have to go through for dealing with these religious hate crimes? And obviously we've got a very fraught situation internationally right now. What kinds of things are FBI agents and other federal agents taught to be able to handle and investigate these kinds of situations?
Well, I think it's...
Let me see what you guys are saying. These aren't even real. Oh, Lord. Let me not do that. Let me not read that. These aren't even real Jews. Who cares? It's not about if they're Jewish or not, whoever. It's just people in general. You know, whether it's Jewish, Christian, whatever religion. You know, it's an attack. It's like an attack on a group of people. Law enforcement response to active shooter. Let me see. They got feet over here too. I know, right?
Is that this attack was intentional. Schools and houses of worship now advise all to shelter in place. The Jewish Federation of Detroit issuing a statement saying Jewish agencies are currently in precautionary lockdown. Let's bring in our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky, along with retired FBI agents and contributors, Richard Frankel and Brad Garrett. Aaron, let's start with you. The last time we heard from the sheriff, he believed there were no injuries, but that the security guard that was there on site did engage with this active shooter, possibly taking him out after they say he may have rammed his vehicle into the front of the synagogue there. Are you able to confirm anything more?
It appears, Kira, that this was an intentional vehicle ramming, according to law enforcement sources. And why do they say that? Because apparently the vehicle was spotted immediately before the crash driving around a security bollard that's meant to keep vehicles away from the main part of the synagogue. The vehicle crashed right through the front doors, our sources say, immediately started a fire. At that point, synagogue security personnel immediately began firing at the car, and authorities say that may have prevented any injuries inside the building.
What it is, security,
there were children there at the synagogue at the time. There is a school there, but they are apparently safe. The sheriff says there do not appear to be any injuries inside. We are working to determine whether there may be somebody injured on the outside, because the sheriff mentioned that the driver of the vehicle was engaged by security personnel. We're still waiting for a status there.
Got it. A number of lawmakers weighing in now from the area. Senator Alyssa Slotkin, Michigan senator from Bloomfield. She's also Jewish. She says, I'm closely tracking the active shooter situation at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield Township, a place I know well. This is another frightening event that is still being cleared. Please continue to follow local law enforcement guidelines and avoid the area. They're actively working the scene. My team and I will continue to be in close contact with law enforcement agencies and local officials. All communities deserve the right to worship safely. All communities. And acts of terror and anti-Semitism must be condemned.
Whitmer says, I am tracking reports of an active shooting at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. We are working with Michigan State Police to get more information. This is heartbreaking. Michigan's Jewish community should be able to live and practice their faith in peace. Anti-Semitism and violence have no place in Michigan. I am hoping for everyone's safety. Thank you to law enforcement for their swift action.
And we've also heard from FBI Director Kash Patel. He posted on X, FBI personnel are on the scene with partners in Michigan and responding to an apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation outside of Temple Israel in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, which of course adds up to what we've been seeing on the scene. We've seen multiple people with, FBI labeling on them. So this is not only being investigated by local agencies, but making its way up to the federal.
This could have been, maybe not a well thought out, planned thing, but a rage attack. And these churches need to have. That's to the point now. Yeah, you got to have armed security at these churches to deal with these people that are going to be showing up to these places. And so it seems like so far it was very preliminary. I wonder what the smoke was coming out of the place, though, the building. But it seems like security might have taken his ass out. A hot bullet for the psychopath.
We see an ambulance, fire trucks. We see another fire truck with a cherry picker over in the main parking lot. But we see a number of law enforcement agents here closer to the building. Even when we first walked up, we actually did smell some smoke here in the area, but that has since dissipated. So we've just seen kind of law enforcement keeping an eye on this building, gathering in front of this as they continue to monitor this situation. But again, this is probably the closest vantage point we've gotten because the road is so blocked off going to, down, I believe it was Maple Lane, all the way down to the temple here. So pretty large response here. And again, this is where we were told some of the kids were able to escape and take refuge inside some of the homes here until we saw the buses come through this neighborhood and take them to a reunification center. So police are still on scene here surrounding the temple. But this is probably the closest vantage point that we've gotten so far to the temple.
Massive response. You've got officers standing guard there on that berm, keeping everybody away from the scene right now. Once again, that reunification spot that Brett was mentioning, that's at the JCC. Sheriff Bouchard saying earlier, please, if you don't need to go there, do not go there. But if you did have a loved one that was inside Temple Israel, that is the reunification spot. That's the JCC. So please, head over there if you need to next.
And we actually have a statement from Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel. She's saying anti-Semitism has no place in Michigan and cannot be tolerated. In moments like these, it's more important than ever that we come together, stand with our neighbors, comfort hate whenever it appears, and build stronger communities.
So once again, an active shooter situation at Temple Israel. As Sheriff Bouchard was telling us earlier, this person approached and security engaged with them. When the sheriff was updating us earlier, he had said that there was no active stimulus at the moment, so meaning they were not actively engaging with the shooter at the time, so unclear whether that person was inside or if they had gotten away officially. We do know that he was saying that there were no injuries reported as of yet. Again, it is early, and we are hoping and praying that that continues to be the news that comes out of this, that nobody was hurt other than if this active shooter person was engaged and maybe they have been neutralized and are still there at the scene. Let's go live to our Simon Shaquette, who
Okay, law enforcement agencies from across Metro Detroit are responding to reports of an active shooter at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. Reports came just after 12:30 Thursday. The synagogue is located off of Walnut Lake Road near Drake Road in West Bloomfield. People are asked to avoid the area. So the updates: a neighbor whose family was home at the time of the shooting walked us through what he heard. My wife was home. She was cleaning the bathroom upstairs when she heard sirens coming in and out. She was like, "What is that?" and heard a couple of firework noises. She called me and said, "I don't know if there's been gunshots or something." And I was like, "I have to go home." And I drove home, and this is all that happened.
A potential mass casualty incident involving a fire. Absolutely. ATF is leading the fight against violent crime. And when you look at this is a mass casualty, a potential mass casualty incident involving a fire, a burning vehicle, destruction to a temple by the vehicle, as well as a rifle that was involved. So we're going to bring our expertise to the table with our arson investigators. We've got certified arson investigators across the country. I've got 5 here in Michigan that are on scene right now. We've also got our certified bomb techs and our certified explosive experts on scene as well, just in case there's anything inside that vehicle.
Yeah, you talked about ensuring that your organization helps keep everyone safe at the same time, but also there's another additional role, an investigative role, in terms of tracing if this person used a firearm, as we've heard did occur. What are you hearing, and what will you guys do to track that down?
We're gonna assist the Michigan State Police and the FBI in that fire scene. We're going to recover the firearm that was involved in this, trace it to the very last purchaser of that firearm, where it was imported from, and try to determine how this individual became into possession of it.
Okay. Officially, we're getting reports that the suspect is deceased at this point. Is that something that you're able to verify as of now, or is that not something you've been told officially?
That's consistent reporting. That's consistent on everything that I've been told.
He's been
neutralized. What happens from here on out? I know there's a lot of work to be done. You're going to be on scene here for quite some time.
We're going to be on scene with Michigan State Police, obviously, and this team of investigators that have been deployed here. And we're going to lead the fire investigation aspect of this and the violent crime aspect of it. And we're also going to help assist with the tracing of the firearm. And we're going to also put that gun in NIBIN and make sure that gun wasn't involved in any type of shootings across the Detroit metropolitan area. We've also got our explosive detection dogs on scene as well. So they're going to do a preliminary search of the structure and of the vehicle and make sure there are no explosive accelerants that have been used in this incident.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're clear also that you have been told that the shooter is deceased. That's consistent with what you've been hearing as well.
That's what I've been told.
Okay,
yes.
All right. SAC, thank you for taking time to talk with us. James Deere from the ATF here on scene, assisting with the fire investigation, the firearm investigation, and other aspects of what's going on out here. We'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Simon. This is Carolyn Clifford. I'm just now joining Heather Catallo in studio, covering this breaking news. Of course, no longer an active shooter situation at Temple Israel, but that is what happened today. And we have just learned that that shooter is now deceased, and a large police presence, as you just saw behind Simon there. And the one thing that's really important for us to mention, police are asking parents to pick their children up at the Jewish Community Center because there was a lot of kids at Temple Israel. And this is a big Jewish community in the West Bloomfield area, so I'm sure there are a lot of parents that are so on edge right now.
Absolutely terrifying. Again, though, great news so far in that we do not believe there have been any casualties, any
reportable injuries as of right now. I want to mention, according to ABC News, when the vehicle drove into the synagogue, it caused the fire, because we've been talking about the smoke we've been seeing coming out of there. There are no known casualties at this point. The vehicle drove around a security ballard, crashed in the front doors, caught fire. Synagogue security, as the sheriff was telling us earlier, engaged with the vehicle. So no injuries from inside the building. So again, very childhood center, May of Banks. It was right by the playground.
Very lucky. It's a good thing they had security there. This would be a whole different story right now.
Guessing will ask all kinds of questions about, is it safe to show my identity outwardly? Can I wear a outward sign, whether it is a head covering, a yarmulke, or a kippah?
What? Hold on. I want to hear this conversation.
What else can I answer?
Was trying to do the violence there at the church. This is a
Where's the rabbi?
Two of my congregants.
Oh, this is interesting.
To do that every time.
Rabbi.
We do
Is the
still have the rabbi.
He's back on the phone,
on
Rabbi.
the phone.
Rabbi Shalom Cantor.
Rabbi Shalom.
We lost you there for a moment. Glad you're with us. You were saying, talking and reflecting with us a little bit about how you don't want to speculate, but what is it that you do know right now in terms of those loved ones and those friends, family members, those in the community that are accounted for? Have you talked to people who are affected by this personally?
So my son is which is housed at the Jewish Community Center. They've been on lockdown until about 20 minutes ago when the lockdown was lifted, but they still have a lockout, meaning that nobody's in or nobody's out of the building. The FBI has a presence there, as do other police officer organizations, to protect and secure the building. I do know that the children have been evacuated, as you've already reported, but beyond that, I don't have any specific information.
Rabbi.
I talked to. Let me say. I did talk to two grandparents, two of my congregants who have children grandchildren who attend the preschool, and both have reported that they have news that their grandchildren are okay.
I do want to report that we have now confirmed that the shooter in this situation is dead, taken down by security there at the church. This is according to police. So we have now confirmation that the person who was responsible, according to investigators, and trying to do this, whatever it is this person was trying to do, the violence, this person has been taken down, shot, and killed. And so that now we've confirmed the shooter in this situation is dead. That confirmation coming to us here in the 2 o'clock hour.
Okay.
So, Rabbi, yeah, you were. Go ahead.
What else can I answer? So in terms of facts, I can't give you any more than you already have.
Here's what we're asking now, Rabbi, if I may, because the shooter in this situation dead, that coming into the newsroom now, but that does not necessarily ease the fear in the Jewish community right now.
You know,
just
that's
on
good.
A human level. Can you explain to us what is in the hearts and minds of so many Jewish Americans who certainly feel like there has been an increase in attacks, an increase in hatred, not just coming from afar, but right here at home?
It is petrifying at times. It also brings people together, and it gives us a sense that we together can get through this. But there is no question that there is an elevated level of fear. And, following this, I'm sure that there will be many more levels of fear and a need for increased security on many different levels. That will be both visible security and things that won't be visible to the naked eye, but things that we know about that will be instituted at, I'm guessing, many of the different institutions around the community and probably around the nation to a large extent. People are nervous. And people ask all kinds of questions about, is it safe to show my identity outwardly? Can I wear a outward sign, whether it is a head covering, a yarmulke, or a kippah, or some sort of necklace, or do I need to hide that? People have asked me. I also teach at the high school one class on Jewish identity, and we discuss this all the time about, is it safe to show Jewish identity publicly, or is it something that we have to hide? And there's not one right answer, but this is going to...
Look at that. Bomb threat. Let me look at this. And This was today. Yeah, bomb threat. Houghton Lake Walmart evacuated after bomb threat. A bomb threat at the Houghton Lake Walmart on Thursday morning forced evacuation. Oh. Damn, bro. These people really activated. Maybe Iran sleeper cells activated. So that was this morning. The Michigan State Police bomb squad was dispatched to the Walmart location following the threat. Store officials evacuated the building. Superintendent Williams provided an update to families of the status of the district's campuses, which are located near the retail store. Damn. Holy shit. What? Maybe it's happening, man. Maybe it's happening.
We need each other. Do not sit in your home and watch the TV by yourself, but find people to be with. Find people to
what
support
you said, Mel?
And
I said Miga.
You can support in
Make Iran
return.
great again.
Number one thing.
Yeah. Rabbi Cantor,
Judaism is all about community.
Yes.
And the community is coming together in large numbers, not only here in Metro Detroit, but across the world, wrapping its arms around a community that has given so much to our greater Metro community. And Rabbi Cantor, you're a big part of that. We thank you for your time here on the phone today. We want to get to Fox News' Camille Amiri. She's live with us right now with somebody who's been there for a little while now. And Camille, what are they telling you?
Yeah, we're talking to Beth Swiss, one of the first people here on the scene as far as civilians go. Beth, thank you for talking to us. I know you talked to me earlier. Kind of tell me how your day started and how you ended up here.
Yeah, so I was at Henry Ford Hospital dropping something off, and I was driving down the street, and I was talking to my mom on the phone, and there were police officers driving by super fast. There were about 10 police officers down the street, so I told my mom, hey, let's pray. There's something like happening. So I thought it was a car accident. And then when I got to this light, it looked like a mom with a cell phone, and she was running really fast across the street. She didn't even see me or the other cars. And so I told my mom, something else is happening, and maybe there's a school right there. So again, we were praying, and I just started driving down the street away. And then when I hit this dirt road, I was like, I feel like I should go back. Let's just get off the phone, but keep praying. And then when I drove back, I parked in the parking lot, and I just felt from the Holy Spirit to come and to pray with people. And then I texted work, Oak Point Church, and had them all praying. And so, and then just been with some parents and lots of other people, giving them hope and comfort while they wait.
You were just describing the expression of the woman. Talk about that when we were talking off camera, what you felt when you saw her face.
Yeah, I mean, it was a look of horror, absolute horror. And it was really disturbing, actually.
And when we see these things happen, we always think worst case scenario, but knowing that everything we're hearing, that no one was killed, and that the police have taken out the suspect, that they've neutralized the suspect. What goes through your head, obviously unfolding very quickly?
Yeah, I mean, just for the family, just watching them, there was just even a mom that came out, I believe, holding her child, so that's very emotional. And so there's other people that are waiting for their spouses to come out, to still connect with their kids, but definitely rejoicing in that and comfort, and also even just to see just all the support of the first responders is very overwhelming as well. And then I always have a heart for the person that did it. I always think that's someone's child, someone's son, someone's neighbor. So again, you and I talked about what can we do as a community to diminish
and to prevent this from happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it's just for all of us to pay more attention to people, to each other, to be kind, loving, and then when we do see something that's off, to report it. It's not going to hurt for us to report it. So just really paying attention.
Thank you, Beth, so much. I appreciate it. Again, just hearing from one of the people who was first on the scene as far as civilians go and what she saw. Everybody here thankful that this did not result in any fatalities. As far as the suspect go, again, the police have taken that suspect down. We have confirmed that, but still, obviously, a lot of work to be done here. Still a very active police situation, and of course, we're waiting to hear from Sheriff Bouchard as far as an update from him goes. But we're going to stand by here live and send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Camila Mary for us live tonight. Thank you. You know, Marielle, just looking at this, and then you kind of go, when's the last time something like this happened? It was in Grand Blanc, September 28th, just down the road, but a little north of here, when someone actually, Thomas Sanford, I believe was his name, he rammed his pickup truck into the church. And now you're seeing in this situation, I know a text that was given from the temple to all the members said a car crashed into the building, police shot driver, not sure if he's dead. This is as per the temple sending to members. Car caught on fire, which is why fire trucks are there. And it just kind of reminds you of what happened with this perpetrator, this 40-year-old guy who also rammed his pickup truck. It's almost as though the same MO was used in this situation. Thankfully, you know, in the Grand Blanc situation, you had 4 people who died.
Right.
In this situation, no one was hurt inside, which is good news.
We talked to former Assistant Chief Steve Dolan about exactly that, who said, is this a copycat situation? We talked about the policy here at Fox 2 not to give any notoriety to people who choose to create mass chaos in our communities. So we're certainly not doing that here, but you have to wonder, just for the people in the Jewish community, this constant fear every time you get an alert like this and you see car into the building. Early when this was happening and before we were getting information back into the newsroom, we see smoke billowing from the building. We don't know if it's a fire. We don't know if there are kids still inside. There is a food pantry day that the synagogue does on Thursdays. That would have been today as well while people were there. Thankfully, we're not reporting any injuries, but this is something that people are having to think about. We have Scott Wolchek on the ground for us as well. Scott, what can you tell us?
Hey, yeah, you know what? This is pretty wild to see. It is a good thing to hear that this shooter is down, and it appears that there's no injuries. The second that any of us heard that there's a nursery school there, I mean, your heart just drops down to another level. So we actually just saw maybe a couple minutes ago a young mother walking out, you know, just holding a child so close to her. She did not want to do any type of interview or anything like that, but so much emotion on her face, and you can see this police presence is unlike many things that I have seen in my career. This is truly an amazing show of just a preparation plan, but it sounds as though the shooter had driven the vehicle into the Temple Israel there and was quickly dispatched. So this could have been so much worse. Of course, it is still an active scene, still a developing situation, but there's a lot of emotion on this scene, and it is very hard to tell. You know, when you're actually out here, it's hard to tell, you know, what may have happened in that time period, right? You know, you get this information and it just kind of trickles in, and so you hear things, and it's certainly something that I have not quite seen in my career, but it's something that you have to feel blessed that there are so many police and EMS that have come out here able to support the community, and I think a lot of us are praying that it is true that there are no other injuries. So it's definitely something that is pretty wild to witness.
We know right now. Thank you, Scott Wolchek, and you stay on the line, so to speak, with us here. I know that we're getting some reporting from our team saying, per police source, one security guard was hit by the suspect's car, but their injuries are not life-threatening. The suspect barreling into this, into the temple, and in the process, obviously, people trying to stop him. It seems as though one security person was hurt. But Marielle, we should also point out it was a security person who exchanged fire or shot this person and was able to bring this person down as well. This job, if you're not a police officer and you're just running security, you're trying to make sure that the right people are coming in and out of the building. Right. You're looking out for everyday stuff that you look out for, but this is the kind of stuff that they train for, and clearly that training paid off for that security guard.
That's one of the things we talked to former Assistant Chief Dolan about, is in this moment you have officers who in a way have to compartmentalize. They are trying to make sure that the scene is secured. Then you also very understandably understandably have parents who are trying to get their kids out of there who don't really care about your request to keep the area clear so that emergency vehicles can make their way through, because they're wanting to make sure that their kids are okay. Again, we're continuing to report no injuries. Kids were moved to Shenandoah, so all good news to report there. But when that's not always the case, there are so many different things that officers have to deal with. So to also be able to respond so quickly, and not just West Bloomfield Police, FBI on the scene, fire, I mean, everyone so quickly. And they said that they've changed for this. And also, Roop talked about how their training has changed in recent years because of the increased threats, not just because of what's happening overseas, but also the increase in homegrown terrorism, white supremacy, things like that, that have made it certainly more of an active job for all agencies involved. How do you protect people when there seem to be just threats popping up everywhere, and on any given day you have someone who, as we see here, decides to drive into a building knowing there will be people there?
You know, and you make a good point. You know, they're seeing more.
Thank you so much for the super chat. Who is that? Dovey. I live in West Bloomfield, a high-income area with many Jewish and Arab residents. Nearby synagogues and temples often have armed security and police. West Bloomfield stays prepared for situations like this. Yeah. Very, very, very lucky they had security, armed security, ready to respond. Ready to respond. Is this a live helicopter? Let me see.
See the smoke coming out right there.
Is that Temple Israel right there in the center of what we're watching? Because if you're just joining us, we want you to know what it looks like. That right there, that is the front of Temple Israel there.
You can see that there's a playground right there. So that we can assume is potentially where the early childhood center is. And you could see smoke coming out of there. Again, our Brett Cass speaking with neighbors just on the other side there who saw the children fleeing and saw the children able to get away.
Wow, that is so frightening when you think about that. And you could actually see that smoke. And I know, again, I keep bringing up Grand Blanc, but it was so frightening. So I'm sure when parents saw that, they were almost panicking, as you might imagine if your child is in Temple Israel. Again, so good to know that there are no known victims and all of those children did make it out safely. We did hear a brief comment from the rabbi there at Temple Israel, who spoke to our own Ruda Ulsanite about a week ago and said that they had prepared for something like this. I'm sure you can never prepare for someone ramming into your temple. No, but they were ready to jump on.
But they're very aware of the threats, and obviously we unfortunately have seen this continued rise in anti-Semitism and these acts across the region and across
the world.
The world, really. And obviously, you know, not just that. We had the situation in Grand Blanc, and we had the situation in New York this weekend. So, and we, you know, as you recall, in October we had a thwarted terror plot.
Absolutely.
So this is.
And we have a really big Jewish community. You've spoken to many representatives in the Jewish community. We have colleagues who are Jewish, and they talk about the threat to their community and anti-Semitism, and how we really need to just stand down and love one another and have peace, not only in this nation but in this world, and to stop the hate. Again, we have no idea who this person was who rammed his vehicle into.
Well, the thing is, with all this stuff going on overseas, you know, I mean, I guess it's kind of easy to say over here, locally in America, stop the hate, love each other, hug each other. Meanwhile, if you look what's going on overseas, people being blown up and war, and the school with 100-something girls, you know, blown up, and all this stuff going on, you have to tell that to somebody else, you know, love and whatever. You got to tell that to other people. I do believe this is like a direct effect to what's going on. Oh, there's a chase too, guys. No, the live chase. Apparently, you want to watch the chase? It's really popping off today. It's crazy. They had more cops respond to like if there was a terrorist attack at the White House. It was crazy.
anybody lose their life or get some major injuries on something where he could just pull over. Ladies?
Wow, it's very scary to watch this driver going opposite lanes right there, driving so fast and, gosh, weaving in and out, narrowly missing a patrol car right there. Quite the pursuit. We haven't
like
seen
just one person,
like this,
right?
Yeah,
as far as
Another terrorist attack?
we can tell, Stu, from the window at least.
Yeah, they have the sunroof open. We saw inside that front window more than a couple of times. It definitely appears to be just that one person. I'm super tight right now just trying to get some better looks, but this guy is continually getting close calls out there. This is not just one off. He continually gets so close to so many of those vehicles running through those intersections, and again, these high speeds. Now, the California Highway Patrol helicopter overhead, so they're definitely going to keep an eye on it. This road right here, it's Telegraph, and it just basically parallels the freeways. But you know what? He's doing 60 miles an hour. Luckily, this portion right here doesn't have a lot of traffic on it, but you know that there's going to be another intersection coming up. This guy has not even really slowed down for some of these red lights. My concern, somebody's going to be just driving, doing the drive, not expecting somebody going 70 miles an hour to appear out of nowhere. You got the green light, you're going to take the green light. Wrong side of the road again. You can see all these cars waiting. Oh, that was lucky. At least that one was probably just turned green. California Highway Patrol, their vehicles still on the ground, cutting a corner right there. But what is that?
Whoa, what was that?
I hope they did. I hope
Who was
they
in the
didn't
wrong?
hit each other. But
the chase guy or the person parking?
That was
I guess the chase
super
guy.
close. Wow. And this guy's just kind of cutting around him, saying, "Hey, thank you for that." Going through an alleyway. I kind of wonder if maybe he knows where he's going, because that seemed a little bit deliberate where he was going right there, back into another residential neighborhood. He's got to know that he cannot outrun the helicopter. But continually with these very high-risk maneuvers, seems like we're getting back onto the 5 freeway right now. California Highway Patrol, I know they have vehicles nearby, close by, trying to get to aid that one that was the only one that was behind them. Let's see if they pick it up once again. Right now, you're going to be on the northbound 5 freeway. And really, truly, the only person he's running from is his own demons. There is no black and whites behind him. There's the one on Telegraph, basically, that 2 that are going to probably be joining this pursuit once again. But those speeds, that's what really worries me.
Yeah, definitely the speeds, and given the fact that there are no black and whites, no patrol cars behind them, yet speeding like that, it really doesn't alert any other drivers on the road that there is a situation like this. There's a frenetic driver. Look at that, weaving in and out. It's really dangerous. It's almost better sometimes when there is a patrol car, perhaps giving people the indication,
close.
So close right there, that something is happening. But right now, all of these drivers around this vehicle have no idea about this situation.
Exactly. And, these are the calls that, the professionals get paid to make. And in this case, I think that they are trying to catch up. California Highway Patrol definitely trying to get other vehicles, other officers in line to get back behind them. And again, the biggest part is to get this guy to stop, but they want safety. They're concerned about the public. They're concerned about, there you go, a little bit of a fishtail once again. Those Toyotas, great cars, but definitely not a high-performance vehicle. Coming off that off-ramp at those high speeds, you got a little fishtaily right there. That's not the first time we saw it. Now
got to be a woman
nice
in the driving.
Turn. At least
driver's got to be a woman.
That one was okay, but again, where is he going? People ask that question all the time, and then sometimes I'm like, how are we supposed to know? But in this case, I'm really kind of wondering,
hell? Were they on drugs?
What is this guy doing? He gets off the freeway, he gets back on the freeway. And you can see the California Highway Patrol exiting right now. They're going to be getting on that freeway, so they'll be up behind them shortly. And when they do, at least they'll be able to warn the public. Those lights and sirens will be on. But that reckless driving, I don't think it can get any worse if there's an officer behind them. And that's the reason why they back off sometimes. They're just like, let's back off. Let's let that driver get a minute. Maybe we're crowding him. Maybe we're too close. But in this case, these speeds, 104 miles an hour. Look at that. Sky Fox doesn't lie.
Wow.
And the core point
flying through that freeway. And again, like our concern always are those people on the road with this individual who have no clue what's going on, and they don't know that they have to be extra cautious or get out of the way, and that always is what worries us.
And Stu, you mentioned the initial
100 miles an hour.
The initial want for this was kind of suspicious activity, behavior, and I guess we could assume this person is kind of under the influence.
Yo, lit like a Christmas tree.
Under the influence, pretty much for sure. Again, you know what? I have to be honest. I am of that age where, you know, apparently he was inhaling. These are unconfirmed reports that we've heard. Was inhaling something from balloons.
Whippets?
Whippets! Usually nitrous oxide.
We're back, baby! Whippets!
I don't know the lasting effects of nitrous oxide. Don't know if this guy's continuing to inhale any
nitrous oxide.
We can tell you is the reckless driving is a fact for sure.
Right.
California Highway Patrol, they have to deal with this person probably inebriated or under the
Let's go, baby.
something. And again, at these high speeds, that Toyota Corolla, we've seen him fishtail a couple of times, hard on the brakes. This thing is just going to slide. We've seen it. We know it. Here comes another off-ramp, and he's doing 70.
Whippets! Whippets! Whippets!
Fishtail into that other vehicle and making his way into the San Gabriel. Look at that.
Oh, shoot.
You know, I just always picture the drivers of those vehicles. And again, I say it because it's the truth. Every time that happens, I tell you, my blood runs cold. Another dead end.
Oh, shit. He's high as fuck.
A lot of jokers in his deck of cards today. Is this going to give time for the California Highway Patrol to catch up? I'm going to stay a little wider. I see them somewhere nearby.
Taking me back,
again,
man.
you saw the helicopter. That's going to be the CHP helicopter. He's calling out the same information that we see on the screen right now, giving that information to law enforcement on the ground. It's probably not just California Highway Patrol. I venture to say we're in the San Gabriel area, probably their own police department out here as well. But right now, the pursuit continues. Now we're in neighborhoods. Can it get any more scary for us watching? I can't really say. I just don't want to see this vehicle collide with anybody. Oof, that was tight.
Yeah, it was tight. That was tight. And Stu, I don't know, I apologize if you mentioned this already and I missed it, but does it look like on the passenger side there's something with the car, the vehicle, the tire or something, or was that just me seeing things?
You know what? Look at that. Did you see him just weave between those cars right there? Yeah, and wriggling between those cars. That's probably the best word. Another crazy U-turn right there.
Oh, wow. Final destination.
I was hopeful. I was like, maybe he's
numb.
got a flat tire. Maybe something's going on. It does look pretty solid when we got at that closer shot. Definitely looks like he's in that vehicle by himself, and now we're back up onto a freeway again. It looks like a lot less traffic out here, but I know this portion of the 710 right this time of day, probably not too much, as I believe we're in the very beginning part of the northern part of the 710. At least the speeds are slowing down a little. Well, now we're back up into 90, but
I can't even look away.
10 miles slower than he has been in the past. Maybe that's a plus. I can't really say. But right now, though, the freeway looks a little wide open, maybe a little suspiciously wide open. Maybe California Highway Patrol is there, maybe doing a little bit of a break. But you can see it now. He's getting back into the mix of things. A lot of other vehicles on the roadway. Those speeds climbing back up again. And it just,
this takes me back.
Continues out here in the East LA, San Gabriel area.
Yeah, it really isn't very busy on the freeway, for better or worse, because he has the freedom to go fast, at the same time not injure other people, but the escalation of his speed escalates the level of danger right now.
You know, definitely. Every time I see this guy go off onto the emergency lane or cut through those gore points, I'm just that guy. When I drive that, well, I don't drive like that, but when I cut across something like trying to get on the freeway in traffic, I mean, I'm helping other people, but I always wind up with nails in my tire. That's the reason why I'm like very hesitant. This guy probably didn't pick up any nails. He's going 100 miles an hour right now, a little bit over, and again, using the emergency lane, cutting through the gore gore point, flying by all these other vehicles. And thank goodness, at least he's not getting very close. There's another gore point to other cars. When he does, that's really when I get worried, especially at those high speeds. You're driving along, you look in the mirror, there's nothing there. You
look at that. Like, the way he crossed over.
Change. You weren't expecting somebody coming up on you at 100 miles an hour. And this guy, inebriated or not, he's still going 100, and somebody might look like they're just trying to cut him off. I'm seeing a lot of traffic, but he's in the carpool lane right now. I don't think that's his biggest worry, but definitely a lot of that. Now he's cutting across, but definitely getting a little bit more traffic out there, and this might create more problems or more safety issues for the public.
Never a good sign when there's more traffic and you have someone like this behind the wheel who's driving very erratically, very fast, as you mentioned, inhaling possibly balloons filled with NOS, which is nitric oxide, and looking it up, though, the effects aren't supposed to last that long. So you wonder what else is going on with this driver, because clearly, under the influence or not,
he's just drifting through these lanes.
There's something
about
his driving, though, that kind of indicates that he may know where he's going.
Yeah, my hopeful comment to that is where he's going to go is into a pair of cuffs and spend some time in a cell somewhere and not have to go to a hospital. There you go again. It just shows you. Look at him kind of swerving around there. That probably is not his driving. That's going to be the car responding. Kind of boxed himself in, but you know what? He always finds a hole to get out. Going out, we're going to do some more of that interesting turns there in that intersection.
So the way this guy's driving is crazy.
As far as California Highway Patrol, I think they have definitely backed off enough so that this guy is literally just driving by himself. Going to stay a little wide there. He didn't. That's him, right? Yeah, that's him. Yeah. So maybe he thought about it there for a minute, because it seemed like he took a little longer than usual to get out from underneath that bridge. That seems to be the common move for a lot of these folks lately, is you get under, folks meaning the people that are being pursued by law enforcement, you get underneath one of those overpasses and then you kind of park, or you wait a little bit and kind of try to sneak out the other direction. Right now, though, looks like we're choosing, okay, we're getting back up onto Atlantic and Washington. So this area very busy. The 5 freeway very close by. We'll see which one he picks. I can tell you that road
we got ourselves a chase.
He stays on it, going to be very bumpy. But as far as him, cracking a rim or something like that, I don't think that's going to affect this incident right now. But the chase continues. California Highway Patrol, their helicopter's still over it. I think they gave their guys on the ground a little bit of a break. And again, we talked about it. Is that good or is that bad for the public? Now you don't have those sirens. It's somebody's decision that gets paid a lot more than I do to make those
just hit that little curve
choices.
Traffic.
Out there.
Here, let's see what he does.
Just trying to squeeze his way
through.
Dude, there's nobody behind you.
He's still forcing his way in.
Take your time, relax, get a couple breaths.
Well, I fear for the people waiting in traffic, following the laws, and then you have this guy behind him or them trying to make maneuvers, trying to get out of traffic. You never know what this person's going to do, and there he goes, taking off again. Hopefully we don't lose him under the underpass, but clearly when there's someone like that going through whatever situation, maybe under the influence, just pull over and stop the car. The car is so dangerous when it comes to the public safety for everyone else involved, everyone else on the roads, and innocent bystanders not even knowing what the situation is because there are no lights and sirens to remind people that there could be a situation, and really just flying blind here when they're on the roads and someone else like this is approaching them from behind. So I wish this guy would just pull over and just deal with it, whatever he's dealing with.
Not really thinking clearly, it seems. So that's not going to happen, unfortunately, until someone puts a stop to him or he crashes and hopefully doesn't hurt anyone.
It wasn't even phased.
Wow.
What the hell? Yo, the cars are like
this.
this
is the thing. It's like whoever was in that black
gonna end up bad, probably.
Like a little story to tell when he gets home tonight. But thank goodness it didn't get into an accident. Oh,
gas
are we getting gas?
Gas. We're getting gas, baby. Gas time. Can he pull it off? The legendary gas refill.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay
Can he fill the tank and dip?
If he runs off, but if he's really getting gas,
it looks like
this is going to be one of those ones where you're going to say, We have seen it all. He changed his mind.
Because it's
there
too
he goes.
expensive.
Oh, too expensive.
Maybe he dropped off some paraphernalia.
Iran oil's too much.
That could have been part of it too. But at any rate, I'm not sure how it all goes, but I can tell you that the safety and the evading law enforcement probably going to be more of a problem than the original want where he was inhaling. But right now we're continuing on a little slower speeds. That's a good thing. We're in a neighborhood out here, California Highway Patrol. Their helicopter's still here.
Turn.
Ground units seem to have backed off. Maybe they'll take that opportunity, what they saw right there, to get a little closer and maybe re-engage this pursuit.
All right, Stu, this is crazy, but I know you're going to take care of this, stay over this too. We invite our viewers to follow this pursuit on our YouTube and Fox Local page. You can continue to follow this along with Stu up in Sky Fox as we go to break here. And after the break, we're going to check in with Bob, who's with Junior.
Oh, shit. He got air. He caught air. He caught air. All right, I got the YouTube thing here. Yo, the car lifted off the street.
Well, guys and gals and kids, we are. If we're up on YouTube right now, I can be a little bit more forthcoming. There he goes. He just threw the canister out. He just threw the canister out.
Shit!
9 and 61st.
The whippet thing. Yo, I can't believe people are losing their minds over whippets like this. I need to be able to bookmark streams like that part of the stream. Can I do that?
I'm just amazed that is such a thing to do. I don't understand that. I mean, there were other generations that sniffed glue that I didn't understand. The nitrous oxide and continuing just to run all these stop signs in a residential area. I mean, we have the opportunity to take a look and see if somebody's coming. Got another speed bump right there. If you are just joining us, and I don't know how that works, but if you can rewind it, I mean, that little Toyota got a little airtime. Very little, but definitely got a little airtime at a couple of points out there, making his way through some of these residential neighborhoods. If you're just joining us here on the YouTubes, this is Pursuit taking place. Right now we're in Southgate. We're in East Los Angeles. Was in the South Los Angeles area. That driver apparently inhaling nitrous oxide. Woo! That's what got this whole thing started. California Highway Patrol in an unincorporated part of
was this person's
South
first
LA
time getting high?
Ones that basically got behind him. The originally started chasing him, but I'm not sure if they lost the vehicle or it was traffic issues or they just decided it was too dangerous. But that vehicle popped up again on the 710. So that he made some good distance between where this thing started to where they picked him up again. You can see the speeds. I got everything up right there. I don't have to call out the streets or even the speedometer. But you can get an idea how dangerous this is. This guy just blowing through every red light, squeezing between a lot of cars. We've seen 3 very, very close calls. Some really cool street art right there. But at any rate, we're continuing on right there. And again, you're going to say, well, why don't they have anybody behind him? I wonder if he's going to get into another dead end. We've had 2 dead ends. Huh? It's a little turnaround down there.
Yeah, so crazy.
At any rate, maybe there's a California Highway Patrol. Well, he made it home. That's good. The dogs.
Oh, he's just pulled up. That's it. Like nothing.
Hey, buddy, how was your drive? Man, you wouldn't believe it.
Bro.
Anyways,
he just pulled up.
Kind of
Mama's house.
There, he's gonna be like, no, man, it wasn't
in the shed.
Me. Mom, I brought your car back. Anyways,
dude,
that's what we're seeing right now. He's closing the gate. Well, clearly we won't know where that car is. And inside that home, I would venture to say that is his house.
Mama's house.
A little wider, just in case he pops out a back door or a side door. But definitely coming to an end. I know maybe some people are saying, well, that was uneventful. You know what? At least nobody died. That's the way I look at it. I'm not sure we can start the stopwatch and see how long it takes for law enforcement to get here. But definitely this is going to be one of those ones where either they are going to, come in and door knock and just take this guy into custody, or maybe a parental unit might say, what are you doing? I'm not going to protect you. That was some really dumb stuff you did there. But at any rate, this is what's going on. I wonder if wouldn't it be ironic if this guy was the parent was watching on our YouTube channel or on channel 11. But that's what we got right now. The dogs are inside the yard. The gate is closed. The car is parked. And the canister of nitrous oxide was tossed off somewhere by 61st and Pine. And that's what's going on. That's
crazy.
I don't know what else I got for you there.
The insanity of
it's probably a
mankind.
Either that or it's some kind of a. Oh, yeah,
The hell's that?
toy.
That you could do something so wild and just pull up in your house and just like walk in like nothing. No cops.
Have the location.
No cops, baby.
Helicopter knows where the car went. You can see their shadow right there. Just waiting for the law enforcement to show up. But again, thank you guys for joining us for the exciting parts on YouTube. Now we're got to the part where we just kind of sit here and just kind of keeping an eye on the house, seeing if this guy tries to sneak out. You know, maybe he's going to go in there, change his clothes, shave his head real quick, and be like, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about. I've got a crew cut and a T-shirt." But I don't think law enforcement's going to be fooled so easily. And at any rate, we're sitting there waiting for the officers to arrive. I'm kind of curious to see how they handle it. And they are coming down the street now, so. Yeah, they probably got the address just like we do, so. Is that
That's
them?
crazy,
No, that's
man.
not them.
That's so
the manager?
crazy.
Okay. Yeah. And if you guys are on YouTube and you're listening to me and they're probably like, is he answering voices in his head? Well, we're going to keep that one to ourselves. Hey, they got some chickens out here.
Oh, nice.
A rooster. That's a good-looking rooster. He's out walking with his gal. It's a beautiful day for a walk in Southern California. Actually, we're in East Los Angeles, but it's still Southern California. Yeah. Stu, this is not as interesting as the, Cops are nearly here.
Not as interesting as what? What does people want?
There they go. Here they come.
She was crazy.
I'm kind of curious how they're going to handle it. And what I was getting at before I got distracted by the, I'm not even going to say that, not even on YouTube, the attractive rooster.
You could say that.
My pilot. I'm not up here by myself. I'm not a monolith. I actually have other people up here with me. Well, person, and that would be Dylan this afternoon. And I do have other people in my ear, but that would be on the radios. But what's going on from here? Yeah, see, this is the thing. This is the thing, guys. You go out there, you drive crazy, 100 miles an hour, cut off a bunch of people, scare a bunch of people. These guys are going to show up with their weapons out. And this is where things could really go sideways. But you can see law enforcement here on scene. And we'll see how this all goes.
Showed up to the house. I just like, what kind of whippets are these people doing nowadays? You know, like, cause the kids, are they doing new whippets? It's not even nitrous oxide. Like, what's inside of this shit that would make you go on a wild ass police chase? Whippets usually like makes
you're brave enough to do the crime.
You got to be careful if you pass out, if you fall. You shouldn't be standing up. These people going on wild ass police chases like there's crack or PCP in this shit. Now it's surrounding the house.
They know.
They don't know which house?
I don't think they know where it's at.
Hey, bro. Yeah, it was like it's hippie shit.
Helicopter's got to be telling them.
They called it hippie crack.
Closed
back in the day. Hippie crack.
Pardon me? Okay. Who? No, we've been pretty much wide on the whole thing until that rooster and the hen was there, and then, yeah, that's probably when he snuck out. He probably was watching on the app and was like, "Oh, he's out. He's not looking at me." Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, yeah.
Yeah, he just kind of bounded out and jumped in there. I'm getting a text about the verbiage. Anyways. I like how the neighbors are like, "Oh, it's just Bob next door, running amok."
Well, he almost pulled off. He could have probably filled it. I don't know if he could have got a
I
full
don't have
tank.
any internet. That's the reason why I
He could have
can't
filled
join
up
the chat.
partial tank and
I was
gotten
trying
away.
to join you guys on YouTube just to see what you guys are chatting about. Dude, just go outside. Come out with your hands up.
That's wild, yeah. Who else was in that house? So.
See, Dylan?
Come on out.
If we were CHP officers, I'd be one of these guys over here just kind of kicking it, and that'd be you right there with your rifle out. Yeah, ready to, always a serious one. Always a serious one, ready to work. And I'd be just like walking around, probably like, hey, where'd that rooster go? Me too. Me too. You and I both. Dylan's just commenting on how exciting this pursuit has gotten.
Now the standoff, I guess.
Was that a non-CHP guy? Yeah, City of Bell. Ring my bell, ring my bell.
Ring my bell.
So, yeah, now it's kind of just a standoff. I don't think you can just like plop into bed and, you know, take a nap real quick. Pass out.
I went to sleep.
What's he got going on in his yard there?
That's just crazy. They can do all that wild, crazy driving, almost die like 5 or 10 times, and then just come home, pull up, and go inside and chill. Yo.
Moy's asking me, Moy, you got to know what the one is. He was inhaling nitrous, apparently, and I'm back to SOS, so I can't get on the YouTubes, and I wish I could. It would be a good distraction, and I could at least make the time go by quicker reading your comments. I wonder how you get into like a place like that, especially since you closed the gate. I mean, do they?
These cops are going to make it
bust
an
down the
all-day thing now with this shit.
I mean, it's going to be expensive to repair that. And do they have a door? I mean, you got the gate, but is there like a... I mean, when I say they got the gate, they got the big electric gate for the driveway, but do they have like a gate, like a door?
Was the shooter? Did they describe those people at all?
The description of the shooter, they said he was a Muslim man.
Oh, shit. Hell nah. Oh. Oh, no.
What's going on here? What's that, like the neighbor?
That's my brother. I love him. I'd always love him.
Yeah, why do you got the neighbor? All right, so they do have a gate. You got to wonder if it's unlocked, though. What are those? Oh, I thought those were more nitrous, just beer.
Damn.
probably one night's worth. Got the big old bag overflowing. Got puppers on the stoop. Dude, come on out, man. Just come out.
Dogs
The other
barking.
dog's like, you know. He can sense it. Okay. Dylan just said that the CHP just gave us a little bit of us. It wasn't like he's like, hey, Stu, this is what's going on. It's not that at all, but they just kind of gave a little bit of an update that, you know, they apparently, and this is what I love about technology. I like a lot of things about technology.
They can see inside.
You know, but this portion is, even our map, we don't have it active. But you know, they can put their crosshairs on that house. I can tell you the address, but they can tell you the address. They can tell you everything about. They can tell you the people that live there, their phone numbers.
Yeah, most people can do that too.
It's anything that's public.
Plug it into the
record,
website.
They have access to. So there's a good chance that I probably don't have a landline anymore, but they can get a hold of cell phone numbers, and they will call and try to get a hold of them. And I guess what's going on is they are making contact, or they have made contact, and there's a good possibility he's going to be coming out here on his own. Hopefully he will. You know, I don't think calling 1-800 whatever is for a lawyer right now is going to help him out. You know, you can do that later on. But just judging by his appearance, and I would venture to say it's probably going to be 1-800-MOM, and get the help that he needs. But right now, car's back in the yard. Probably won't tow it. That's a plus. But him getting into cuffs, that's going to happen sooner or later. And hopefully it's sooner than later.
877 Whippets now.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it wasn't even tech. Maybe it was this guy was like, oh, here's the phone number. I don't know my neighbors' phones.
It went for a joyride.
Oh, okay. Apparently they're talking to Dad, so he didn't call 1-800-MOM. He's talking to 1-800-DAD. He's inside the house. I don't know, man. I know I'm from a different generation, but if I wouldn't have walked out, if my dad would have been like, if this would have been me, and my dad would have either said, hey, you can walk out on your own, or I'll just knock you out and carry you out and drop you off. Which way do you want to do it? I don't know. Maybe they're not interested. Maybe there's something bigger going on. Maybe there's another big fish happening. Maybe they got a ground crew down there.
These cops, they're probably going to drag this out at making an all-day thing. If the guy doesn't voluntarily come out, they're going to be like, it's going to be an hours and hours and hours thing, and they're just going to drag this out for the whole day.
It's a nice gate. It's a nice house. You know. I guess they were going to put in an AC unit or something right there. What do you think? Put a window unit in the wall? I don't know. You think they got central air? I mean, I don't know why they didn't have central air. Oh, yeah, they got central air. There's central air right there. I wonder what that's all about.
This dude's inside, probably passed out, knocked out.
Yes, Lisa. He ran inside the house. Apparently his dad is in there, and his dad says that he'll be out in a little bit. But define a little bit.
Aquí me la pelan, eh. Aquí sí.
No. No.
Oh, this is.
I mean, for all we. Copy. Man, that kid is lucky. That's all I got to say. That kid is super lucky.
Yeah, at the scene over there, too. Somebody at the scene. Bloop, bloop. Mic check. So he talked to his dad.
Lucky he didn't hit anybody. Lucky he didn't get killed. You know? I mean, the stuff this guy was doing. Well, I mean, he was 100 miles an hour, weaving in and out of traffic, got fishtaily a couple of times. You know, right. Or just on an off-ramp, lose it and roll that thing around, you know, and kill himself. But, yeah, well, I actually was Pine and 61st, near Pine, and on Pine near 61st Street. He threw out a canister out of the car, and I'm pretty sure that was nitrous. So, yeah, he was huffing the nitrous. Oh my gosh, dude, come on out.
I'm gonna have to leave him.
You're the next contestant. I wonder if that's like some sort of a Stringer wannabe with a little electric bike. And that helmet probably weighs more than the bike does. Well, now the neighbors are involved.
The neighbors know my name, my name, my name. The neighbors know my name.
He's such a good kid. Yeah, he's such a good kid. I don't. Are you sure it was him? I can't believe that. Unless they were my neighbors when I was a kid, and they were probably like, him? Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Melissa's throwing her hat in there that this is that's a girlfriend. I'm going with sister. I'm going with sister.
Oh. There it is.
No, nobody came out of the house. Oh, I stopped. Honestly, I kind of stopped listening.
There it is.
Once I saw the chickens, I was out. Yeah, it was a rooster and a hen walking down the street. They were going to cross the road, but then a pursuit showed up. Oh, yeah, no, I don't have enough internet. I was going to say, I just looked down and I had the G5 going on. I was like, yes! And then I was like, no! And I'm going to do a little self-promotion. Actually, I'm helping out my buddy that runs the page. Anyways, if you're on Facebook, which is kind of an odd thing to say, but if you're on Facebook, you can go check out Stu Live Crew. It would be, hey, what do you want us to do? Okay, he's coming out with his mom.
Who's coming out with
This is
mommy?
per our assignment desk.
Coming out with mommy. Coming out with mommy. Okay.
Anyway, Stu Live Crew, go check it out on Facebook. Moy's got to vet you, but if you go check it out.
Coming out with
Just
mommy.
because everybody's yelling in my ear, Dylan, let's just kind of park with the front door where we can see the front door. So it is Mom.
Come on, mommy.
All right, Dave, Melissa, you happy with this shot? We're going to just park it here. Thank you. Yeah, the Christmas lights at Christmas time, mood lighting when it's not Christmas. And they get to have some wind chimes. Apparently my wind chimes annoy my neighbors. Huh. They do? I find it to be very relaxing. How do you know my wind chimes annoy you? Dylan and I do not live together. I will just put that out there. Well, we fly enough, we work enough together, but we, at the end of the day, we just wander. Anyway, go check out Moy. I don't know how many people are still on the YouTube. Stu Live Crew. It's spelled STU, by the way. You can also find me on Instagram, Stu_Mundell, MUNDEL. Yeah, a little self-promotion. Why not? What do the influencers always say? If you enjoy my content, give me a like and subscribe. I don't know what the subscribe part is. I have subscriptions, and I do take my meds pretty much regularly. Sometimes I don't.
You don't know what the subscribe part. You have a YouTube page. You know what subscribe is.
It helps me make better decisions. Man, it's too hot. I was going to say, Skyfox, the new Skyfox can handle the heat. I can tell you that. But you're right. The AC's not loving the warmth. Right.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oops.
I don't mind. Right?
Here to buffer. Different things.
6243 River. 6243 River.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, he's going to come out. Just like he's not going to take the car and go inhale nitrous and lead officers on a pursuit going 100 miles an hour on the freeway.
He's coming.
Up. There you go. That's how you do it.
Papi, chulo. This mommy. Okay, mommy. He's a good boy. He come out. It was a mistake. He didn't mean to. Just a kid,
Just open
man.
the door. You're going to have to
Didn't
move
mean
a
to
little
do it.
closer when he starts coming out.
You can sue the
Trees are gonna be
city
in the
after
way.
racial profiling. Yeah.
Yeah, he's under the tree now. He's coming out the gate. I have a feeling they're going to make him walk towards him. Maybe just do the orbit. Wait. Maybe he's making it easier for us. Made it easier for us. There we go. He changed his hoodie. I thought he had a gray hoodie on. It's too hot for a hoodie. I'll get shots of Mom in a minute. Just relax. Look how gentle they are. See? They didn't even tackle him.
That's nice. You see nice people, you know?
All right, we'll put you on the back of the motorcycle and take you in. Yeah.
That boy need a mental health
I would
evaluation.
venture to say law enforcement. Yeah, that's probably Bell PD. There comes Mom. I didn't have to worry about it. Mom came to me.
Please, we go to him. He's so nice. Well, at least we
Yeah, well, he's got his back to us. And he's also in public. I don't know how that all works. Yeah, he's driving. Look she's got a cat on her shirt. How bad can she be? Yeah, she's crying.
I know. Please.
It's okay. You can borrow the car when you get out. Yeah. Here comes the girlfriend. Melissa was right. Melissa, you were right.
Oh, that's it. Oh, shit.
That was my car. You borrowed my car. Really? 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 Oh, got a little hug action going on. I'm thinking girlfriend. Melissa said it was a girlfriend. I don't know. You think it was a sister? All right. Look, he's even riding in the front.
Wow. Damn, a lot of people don't get to ride in the front. What? A lot of people didn't get to ride in the front, man. A lot of people ain't get to ride on the front. Do you think he agreed to snitch? Maybe.
In the car, out of the car. If you missed it a few moments ago, now you can get the shot of him being placed in the vehicle again.
Oh. Oh yeah, he's over there. Damn, you can see that. I didn't realize. Yeah, they got his greasy ass. D-bag. Why is that guy's camera phone quality so much better than the Chopper's camera? I don't know. Maybe better signal. I'm not sure. Fox's camera is kind of old, I think. I think ABC has better quality in their Chopper.
Yeah, I'm going, well, I don't know. Because she just kind of walked out of the property again. So I don't know if it's sister or... You know, I thought that same thing, but those type of guys always get the good-looking gals. Oh, yeah, they do. You think that's Dad? No, yeah, that's... You think that's Dad?
All right, guys. I guess I'm going to jump off, I guess.
Yeah.
Who rang outside out of nowhere? It just came out of nowhere. Damn, pimpin'.
CHP. Yeah. Yeah, I was just about to ask. Skybox, Simon Desk, I know you guys are all glued to the screen, but I think all the action is over. Everybody's left except for 3 cars and the bad guy. Bad guy's still here. Okay. I'll listen up. Well, that's now we know where everybody went.
That's it. All right.
Nordhoff and Sepulveda. Oh, he's out running.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to jump off for now. It's been a crazy day. Really crazy day. Internet's been acting kind of funky. A little bit, but all right, guys. I will catch you later. Thank you so much. Bye. Bloop, bloop, bloop.